Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. We are excited for you to see it. For anyone watching who does not know, I am Amanda Reynolds Cooper. I have had the pleasure and the privilege of being the director of the library for the past 13 years. With me speaking during this presentation are Renee Boudreau, the director of the Parks and Recreation Department, and Stacy Mazer, the assistant director of the library. Briefly, during this presentation we'll speak about our main goal for you to learn about the project, our hopes to garner support for being included on the CIP as a collaborative project, why the Recreation Department and the library are collaborating. I will introduce a community planning concept called Third Place that very nicely brings our two departments together and makes the collaborative component make sense in a community context. Stacy will present the library strategic plan and how its data bears on this project. Renee will present the UNH Recreation Needs Assessment Study commissioned by the Recreation Department and its implications for this plan. We will also share some preliminary data from the master plan. Finally, we'll briefly go over, in very broad strokes, what we think the next few years will bring as far as getting this project off the ground. And then, you'll be able to view our contact information so that you can ask any questions you may have. In as few words as possible, we want to build a collaborative community center. We want to do it the right way. We want to bring all the stakeholders to the table. We want you and others to be able to provide your input from the onset. We plan to discuss this idea broadly and to design a building that meets the needs of Hampton now and into the future. Because this is a new collaborative concept, we want to ensure that we have dotted every I and crossed every T so that we collaborate together successfully. What you'll see during this presentation is the very first step in a thoughtful, well-paced project. We don't anticipate seeking funding during these first steps, but it is our intention to have this collaborative project included as a major element of the capital improvement plan. The Board of Trustees of the library have committed to using their funds for some of the early work, for consultants and conceptual designs. We're not going to be rushing any financial requests through. We want to be included in the planning tool so that as the town develops, this new project is slated for inclusion along with the other capital needs of the town. And, as the project moves forward, we do have the intention of bringing in fundraising consultants to help us with the cost of the project, whatever it is determined to be. We feel that this is a project that is better with us working together. The rec department and the library bring different strengths to bear. We have been collaborators for many years. It predates my time as director of the library, and it predates Renee's time as director of rec as well. It is something we're successful at. It is something we're proud of, and it's something that we would like to foster and continue. And I include all of you watching this presentation in this slide. This is our opportunity to work together to build something for our community. This plan will also require the collaboration of the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Trustees of the library. That's going to be a new relationship for the town of Hampton, though it's not new for the Seacoast. There are other examples where library trustees and selectmen work collaboratively, sharing authority over a project or a building space. We'll be pulling the best practices from those neighbor towns and bringing them to bear as we move this project forward. Because this is somewhat of a unique idea, though not entirely unheard of, we want to just show you briefly some other communities that have adopted this shared relationship between a library and a community center. There are several examples that are very exciting. The Palo Verde Library and Maryvale Community Center in Arizona has undertaken this exact idea that we're presenting to you. The library is on the left in this diagram. On the right is a community center. They're connected by a breezeway, and I like to say it's because in Arizona they never have bad weather. So they've built a space where you're going to arrive, borrow books, and play a game of basketball, or read the newspaper and then hit the walking trail. They've got this idea that their community might travel to a certain location to enjoy lots of different community engagement, all in one place. Here you see the Wheaton Library and Community Recreation Center in Maryland. Finally, we have the Mitchell Library and Community Center in California. Each of the communities that I've just discussed has done an excellent job of informing their public and sharing what they have done, from the concept phase to the actual building being built. It should be easy for you to find online using their proper names to learn more about them. Or if you'd like, please ask the library and we'll be happy to share links with you. Each of these communities has articulated very well the desire to have a town center, to have residents coming to a central location where they can engage in many different community activities at the same place. There is a concept in community planning called Third Place that I want to talk briefly about because it marries the library and the recreation department so nicely together, because both departments foster third places in Hampton. In this concept, your first place is home. Your second place is work or school. The third place is a place in your community where you go to interact with your neighbors. A place where there's no entry fee, there's no membership, and there's no hierarchy. There's no one person more valuable in the third place than another. Each person accesses the space equally and has a fair share of resources and opportunities to explore their community. The space is neutral, it has open and accessible conversation, it's unpretentious, it feels homey and playful. The definition, as written by the creator of this concept, is that third places are public places where people can gather, Put aside the concerns of home and work and hang out simply for the pleasure of good company and lively conversation. Some examples of third places would include libraries, churches, community centers, civic clubs, and parks. They are the heart of a community's social vitality and the grassroots of a democracy. That is something that is 100% true about the library and 100% true about the recreation department. We see that as a critical component to why these two departments within the town can build a third place together. The leaders of this project are heading this effort because we have all spoken to residents, and we've heard over and over again that there are not enough places in town that meet this definition. When thinking about the town of Hampton, it's important to look at least a little bit at the demographics that make up our community. In the 2018 census, 45% of households had residents who are 60 years old or older, so they are nearing retirement age or have already retired. They've got their first place. They're getting ready to leave their second place or have already retired. That third place is critical to enjoyment of life, continued development in community, and it is vital for their well-being. It will give them a rounded, full experience in their retirement years. Another large segment of our population is households that have a child under the age of 18, which makes up about 22% of the population. That is families that are making a safe and secure home for their children. They're working, their kids are going to school, but they want their children to have that sense of belonging within this great community that we all love. They want a place where they feel the heart of the community, and they feel their sense of belonging within that community.
The Lane Memorial Library has been the third place for Hampton since 1910. We started with a reading room with tables and chairs. Our community was invited to gather and read. We were fulfilling that concept of a place you would want to go outside of your home for recreation and for being with one another. Today, we continue to offer a community gathering place for Hampton. But are we meeting the needs of our residents? Are we building usership? In 2017, we began a strategic planning process. This helps the library chart a course based on the past towards a managed future. This helps us make sure we're meeting the needs of our community. We gathered a community committee together from a diverse range of backgrounds and ages. They identified a future vision of Hampton and the library. Our staff identified strategies to help meet that vision, and from that process we came up with 4 goals and a mission statement that would lead us through the next 3 to 5 years. We want to be the place that Hampton gathers, connects with their neighbors, and learns about the world. Our first goal to help meet that vision was increasing events at the library and offering new educational opportunities. We then want to make sure we're assessing those events to see that we're succeeding at that goal. Our second goal was increasing partnerships with local businesses and town departments. We have a vibrant business community. The Hampton Area Chamber of Commerce is an active and vital part of our town. We want them to know that we support them in any way that we can, and we appreciate the support that they offer in kind. Employees are a part of our community. We want to be sure that those businesses know that their employees are as much a part of our town as our residents. They can get library cards and attend events at the library. Our third goal was making sure we'd increase partnerships with local cultural institutions like the James House, the Hampton Historical Society, the PTA. We can do better when we partner with other stakeholders in our town. We can share costs and space. We can fill our event calendars with a full spectrum of enriching events. Our final goal was increasing the usage of the library space. We want to be the place that Hampton gathers, and we can make that possible by making sure we're meeting those first 3 goals. We also want to start to explore the options that exist within the town campus. There is a potential there for us to develop that collaborative place with our recreation department right next to the library. We'll restart our strategic planning process in 2022, and that will help chart the course for the library over another 3 to 5 years. Now, when our community committee was envisioning a future Hampton and how the library could help the town meet that future, their responses overwhelmingly fell into a category of library service called Commons. And a library that provides a commons environment helps address the need of people to meet and interact with others in their community and to participate in public discourse about community issues. This speaks directly to that third place concept that we have been talking about, and our community committee saw it as the biggest need within our town, and we believe strongly that our collaboration with the rec department will help us meet that need.
Another major contributor to third places in Hampton is the Parks and Recreation Department. The act of providing public parks that the community can gather in, away from home or work, is a large portion of what we do. And that's not to say that events and sports that we offer don't also fill this need. A huge part of our events or our trips bring a sense of community to the participants as they meet new friends and develop a sense of community. Like the library, we've been looking to the future, what this department can accomplish. We took a step in 2019, bringing in UNH to perform a recreation needs assessment. UNH developed a plan for assessing our community. They interviewed 54 people in focus groups, including the library staff, and received 400 survey responses from the residents, all to get at how Hampton spends their free time and wants to spend their free time and what they hope for in the future. There are some great conversations around the idea that not all recreation activities are athletic, and there was a good realization that these neutral spaces, though they don't use the phrase, but these third places within a community that can be adapted to multiple users is something that Hampton is sorely lacking. The study delivered benchmarks for average needs for a community like ours, potential needs for a community such as Hampton, and looks at what the focus group suggested that they might like to see for our community. It also looked at what the rec is already doing. When the library read the full report, they saw what the recreation department saw also. It became very obvious that the thing to do was try to look at this process as a team, together, as a community. There was an energy, a desire and need for space to expand offerings for all ages. Currently, the Recreation Department offers a lot of opportunities for all ages in Hampton. This result on our study just shows that they are expecting possibly a little more from us, and I believe this community center building would give us that opportunity to offer more to our residents. As you look at this next slide, the 72% used at least one park or rec facility frequently or regularly. This number is showing you that Hampton is a very active community, and they like to get outside and participate in recreation. The number on the right, the 70% used the parks or programs in the last 12 months. That was pre-COVID, and we really think that the number the last year or two has grown from there exponentially. Hampton is active. They want to be outside more, and that's showing the usage. UNH, in their study, found that Hampton is much lower than the national standards for indoor space requirements. The national standard at 2 square feet per resident is the standard. Hampton is currently at 0.13 square feet per resident. That is a very big difference. We are trying to do a lot with that small 0.13 square feet. Obviously, the community would like us to be able to offer more, therefore we need a bigger indoor facility space. Only 39% of the participants rated our facilities and parks as excellent. This number shows that we definitely have some improvement to do. Since this study was taken, we have taken the initiative and completed 2 playgrounds since this was taken, and 2 of those playgrounds were in the study as needing improvement. So we have taken some steps to fix our facilities. It's just showing you that there's other stuff out there besides the community center that we need to address. What does the community want? Well, on the left are 7 topics that came up as very strong desires in Hampton. It's not to say that we can accommodate them all, but a facility community center could help with the majority of these. And some of the topics on the right are still topics that were high of importance, but a little separate from the community's concept that we are talking about. So the executive summary. As you read these 5 statements, 4 of these 5 fall under what we are trying to accommodate with this community center. There is a need for it, there is an active demand for it, and people are talking about the future of Hampton and how this would be a good addition to what we offer currently. We believe 4 of these 5 could be accommodated with a community center, a joint effort with the library and the recreation department.
Hello, Amanda speaking again. I'm going to share some of the initial findings on the master plan. It is by no means complete, but Jason Vachon, the entire planning department, and the planning board as well, have done an excellent job reinvigorating the master plan for the town. All throughout the process, they have shared their data as it comes out, so we have some initial data from their work that supports and informs this concept of pursuing more third places in Hampton. Within the master planning process, they have gathered 550 community member survey results, in addition to performing other assessments using town planning tools. They have gathered both numerical and narrative responses, and from those narrative surveys, there are several phrases that stand out as falling right into this concept that we're talking about. People expressing a desire to create a village center aesthetic, to create community spaces, to improve the walkability of Hampton, to build a senior center, and this phrase that I love: people know one another. I think that is a hallmark of our community, and again, that is because we do so well with what little we have to foster third places in Hampton that this community feels as if we know one another. We want to make that a lasting legacy. We want to carry that forward. Within the master plan vision, they articulated the guiding principle that continued municipal support of the recreation department, lane library, and school system, as well as expansion and improvement of community spaces, will help maintain the sense of a close-knit and friendly community. The vision that has been developed for Hampton is to create third places. The residents providing feedback, answering all of the surveys, didn't have to say third place, didn't have to know that concept existed for us to see this definition, this idea, and this desire keep coming up in all of our planning tools within the departments of the town. Our plans to build a collaborative community center fulfill these desires. You've heard it from the library strategic plan. You've heard it from the UNH Recreation Needs Assessment Study for the Rec Department. You've heard it from the master plan. Third places are needed in Hampton. It is not a coincidence. It is a running theme throughout all of town life and all the town departments that touch community members that they want places to go and gather. The town of Hampton has now built a new indoor public space since 1985. That is 36 years of change and development and growth without our community having new opportunities to gather indoors and be with one another. We are better together. The Recreation Department and the library greatly enjoy collaborating. We do it well. We can build one structure that serves two departments' needs, and by doing so, we will increase the longevity of this building. It's going to be able to serve the needs of Hampton farther into the future by being built thoughtfully now. It's going to save residents money to do it this way. It's going to save time, and it will also strengthen both departments. It will bring the community something that it sorely lacks and has very much expressed a desire for. The priorities for the next 2 to 3 years are to have this project included on the CIP planning document so that it is part of the town's overall vision for major improvements, engaging a consultant to perform market research that will be seeking residents outside of library users and outside of recreation department users so that we're hearing from all of Hampton. We want that 365-degree view of the community. We want to be sure that we're hearing from everyone. We'll be working together to build support and share our excitement. You're going to see Stacy, Renee, and myself going around to club meetings and other gatherings to talk about the community center plan, to share our ideas, and to listen to yours. And finally, we'll be engaging an architectural firm to develop some conceptual designs. The Board of Trustees of the library are very excited about this project and seeing it move forward. So much so that they have committed to funding the first design stages. This will not be something that you will see as a warrant article or CIP request. We're able to move forward with the first few steps without seeking any additional funding. Thank you for watching and listening. Contact information for our team is here. Please reach out to any one of our project leaders with your thoughts and questions.